Intel and AMD earnings. We don't typically do earnings on the show, but Intel and AMD combined are about 95% of the CPU to the market and various levels of networking that goes into. Matt, what's going on? Or do we have a server cataclysmic downfall here? I mean, is this the end?
This is the end. AI is going to take over. Well, you know, it's funny. I don't feel comfortable ever talking about financials because I'm not that smart. But
or you're too smart.
Or I want to avoid. Yeah. I've never been accused of being too smart, by the way. But anyway, so, you know, I wanted to bring this up, though, because I talk to folks in industry a lot. I talk to both on the vendor side and the IT side. And they're talk about hand-wringing. There's a lot of hand-wringing going on about Intel and AMD's numbers. You know, Intel, they both had not the best of quarters. And while it's easy to chalk it up to bad PC sales and a terrible PC market right now, the server side wasn't.
I'm sorry.
Oh, that's Siri.
How about that?
The server side wasn't so wonderful either.
Is this really Matt?
Yeah, now I'm kind of wondering.
Is this bot Matt?
It's fine. That's funny. But, you know, the server side wasn't fantastic financially for either company either, right? Intel's numbers were down considerably on the server side. AMD's were as well. While not as bad as Intel's, they were still pretty bad. But, you know, there's an overall slowdown in the market that both companies are experiencing. And they've had, you know, not the greatest of quarters for different reasons. But, you know, both of them, when you look at portfolio, when you look at roadmap, when you look at kind of where their sights are set over the next few quarters, I'm not stressed about. This is why I wanted to talk about it. Stop the hand wringing. All is well. The sky is not falling. You know, the market goes through these slowdowns, you know, occasionally where you see data center spend slow down. Cloud spend has stalled. It's what's happening. We're not seeing Genoa or Sapphire Rapids in broad adoption in the cloud space yet, even though the platforms have been out there. They're going to get there. The market's going to rebound, and both companies are going to be fine. They both have a very positive outlook, or a positive outlook for second half of 2023. And given the vision of both, I think 24 and 25 are going to be super strong. So to all my IT friends out there, chill out. All is going to be well.
But I will add, Matt, you know, I dug into it and, you know, looked at their performance with networking and edge. And there have been so many starts and stops for Intel in that category. And Pat, I'd love to get your insight on that. I mean, what's going on there with Intel?
I mean, they primarily, well, first of all, this bucket of networking, including carrier, they're doing a great job in the carrier. It's really an Intel ARM battle for the RAN and Open RAN, and Intel is winning this right now. And as viewers also know, if they cover the space, there's like 17 different ways to do networking, right? Yeah. What got shut down was Barefoot Networks, which was kind of a more intelligent networking on the edge. And that was basically done because of cost cutting, right? Yeah. The company's stock is in a free fall. Intel had the biggest cash loss they've had in the history of the company. Yeah. And they're taking out things that are not sure bets to enable them to hit 5 nodes in 4 years to crank up the money press again and also get into the foundry business. So I feel like that is the story on that. Intel had a next business update that I attended that I thought was very convincing that what they're continuing on doing is going to keep going. I think the opportunity that Intel has, particularly on the carrier side, where heck, up until 5 years ago, they weren't even virtualizing workloads.
Yeah.
You know, there were 5 different architectures going in. There were monolithic applications. They had zero flexibility. But with 5G rolling in and the ability to do kind of fractional, right, all the way from high latency, low bandwidth to low bandwidth, high latency to high bandwidth, low latency. It really gives them the opportunity. I mean, that they had to change. They had to move. They had to virtualize. They had to move to containers, and Intel stepped right up and helped them do this. On the server side, I mean, AMD did have double-digit growth with EPYC
in the cloud space.
Yeah, in the cloud space. One of the things that I thought was interesting. One of the things that Intel did say is they didn't expect the market to crater as much as it did on the server side.
Yeah,
totally expected it on the client computing side, but not on the server side.
Yeah,
so,
and Pat, I think AMD actually has a nice opportunity on the server side as well. It's I don't think it's a coincidence that while they've seen growth year over year in the cloud, that this quarter is reflective of what cloud spend looks like. I think enterprise is still wide open for AMD. There's a lot of growth opportunity in that transactional business through the channel. They're still working at kind of fine tuning and really opening that spigot. When they do, I think they're going to have there's a lot more upside for them.